Not mistaken, we do the show on Friday.
Not anymore. Yeah, this is our first outing on a... No, that's not true. We did do one Thursday show because I had to...
The wedding?
Radiohead? I think I had to go see Radiohead on Friday night.
Did you just say the phrase, I think I had to go see Radiohead? Did that change your life?
I would say that particular show did not change my life.
Can you honestly state that at some point in your life you have seen Radiohead live in concert and it has changed your life?
Twice.
Twice?
3 times.
3 times?
I would say twice changed my life.
Once reaffirmed that the previous 2 times
my life
were
had been
not
changed.
Okay. That's bold statements.
One was at the Greek Theater.
That's in Hollywood?
And the other one was at the Hollywood Bowl.
That's in Hollywood.
It is.
And what was the third?
The third what? Oh, Santa Barbara.
The Staples Center in Hollywood. It's Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara. Great story about... I don't know if it's a great story, but about the Greek show. It was a melee show. Like, tickets sold out like nutso, insane. Like, just no way of getting tickets. And I was working at this awesome music store at the time that sold awesome gear, old keyboards,
to awesome people.
So I wind up scalping tickets for my lady and I dare not even tell you how much I spent. You could guess, maybe.
Do tell.
Let's just say less than $1,000 for 2 tickets is what I'll say. Truly, and at that time, you know, I was just like, they're worth every penny.
The 90s were a different time.
I think it happened in 2000.
You can Google
them. 2002 probably, but and so I buy the tickets and I go and meet this dude down in Pasadena. He can't go and he's super bummed. And it's like, oh, you're gonna have the best time. It's gonna be the best show ever. Rah 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 rah. So the day of the show, I'm working at the store, and the owner of the store is like, he's like, you know they're gonna come in, like they're gonna come in because the producer Nigel Godrich had come into the store before. So I'm sitting there, 10:30 in the morning, and all of a sudden this little man walks in the front door, and I look, and it's Tom York. And of course, like I mean, outright panic. Like I look at him, and then I look at Jack, and I'm like the owner of the store, and I'm like, and so I turn and I start like fucking with something, like I was busy doing something.
Playing with 8 tracks.
And Jack just turns on his heel and walks out of the door. Just leaves the store. So it's just me and Tom York sitting in the store. And he like is looking at this one thing, and I was like, if you need help with anything, just let me know. And I'm just dead fucking nervous. And he's like, what's this thing? And I was like, oh, it's a string synth. You know, we plug in this one thing and plug in this other thing, and all of a sudden he like lays down like this sweetness, like just like takes my head off with some like awesome
wrote a song for the next album in front of you.
And so we're talking for a second about gear, and he actually buys this keyboard from me, and as he's purchasing it, I was like, I just have to let you know, like I'm a huge fan, and whatever. I'm a huge fan, and he's like, I was like, oh, I'm going tonight, and he's like, oh, are you getting into the show? Okay. And I was like, yeah, it's funny you should say that. I was like, I spent a ridiculous amount of money on tickets, and he's like, oh, well, just give them back. Like, can you get the money back? I'll just put you on the list. Like, and I was like, no, I can't get it back. Like, I scalped them on Craigslist like an asshole, and he was like, oh, and I was like, listen, like I wouldn't ask this, but I was like, the guy I make music with is not able to come, and I was like, if there's any chance you could put him on the list. And he's like, write down his name, and so I like nervously like write down his name, and he's like, there'll be a ticket waiting for him. And we get to the show that night, and I call Amir, and I was like, dude, like at lunch I call him, and I'm like, you'll never fucking guess what happened. He's like, I was like, there's a ticket waiting for you. Like, Tom York's, like, putting you on the list. And he's like, shut up. And he thinks I'm making it up. We get to the show. Show's about to start, blah, blah, blah. We go up to Will Call. I think there's a ticket here, Mir Yagman, blah, blah, blah. He's not on the list. And I was like, oh, boy. And it's just some girl that works at the Greek, and she doesn't fucking know. And I was like, are you sure? Can you look again? She's like, it's not here. It's not here. And I was like, listen. I was like, Tom York was in the store I work in today. He was in there 5 hours ago. He told me he was going to put him on the list, and he said it might be a little crazy because my cutoff was like an hour ago, but I'm going to go and try. At the same time, the stage manager guy comes out, who's like a Radiohead dude, and he hears me telling the story, and so he knows where Tom was all fucking day. And so he leaves, and 10 minutes later, he comes back with the little wadded up piece of paper that I had written Amir's name on. So he had gone and found Tom, and Tom like pulled it out of his pocket and was like, here's the dude's name. We get the ticket, turn around, and 5 minutes later they walk on stage. So this dude like went to go see him when he was like about to get on. Amir went in. Best show ever. Changed my life.
That's karma.
That was a little bit of a long-winded opener there, but pretty much the best dude ever.
Did you paint him anything the way you did John Popper? Mr. York?
Mr. York, I want you to know
have something for you.
I've only done this for one other recording artist.
Many recording artists grace their bathrooms with original artwork of mine. Bob Weir.
John Popper. Tom York. Shania Twain. That's my fucking Radiohead story. Greatest band in the world.
You heard it here. Yeah, dude, there's a podcast, the greatest podcast in the world.
There we go.